Welcome, my name is Matt, aka IG-88. We are getting into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Mods, IG-88. Now, you want to talk about an IG unit. This is the IG unit to be talking about. Not IG-11. IG-11 is cute for an IG droid, but he is no IG-88. This is the Terminator of the IG units. Right here. This is the Terminator of those Terminators. So he was first introduced in the movie Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. You might be questioning, when did they introduce him? In the bounty hunter lineup that Darth Vader was talking to on his Star Destroyer, setting them out for the bounty to go hunt, search down Han. He was in that lineup. You see IG-88 in the lineup of bounty hunters. The Empire owns the IG units, not the bounty hunter guilds. That's Disney's talking right there. George Lucas. They are Imperial droids, technically. They were funded by the Empire. They are manufactured by the Empire. Yes, they do work under the bounty hunter guild, but they are designated for hunting down and capturing any bounties wanted by the Empire. Hence where IG-11 came from when he was looking for Grogu. It was the Imperial Remnant that sent him. IG-88. Of course, when the Empire finally falls, he kind of ends up going solo. You can read about him in, like I said, his first appearance is in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. As part of the Bounty Hunter Guild lineup for Darth Vader when he was wanting them to track down Han Solo's Millennium Falcon. He shows up once again in Star Wars Tales of the Bounty Hunter, and I believe he has another appearance in Star Wars Tales of the Empire, which basically is kind of telling the stories of like witness testimonies from sideline characters of situations, events that we saw in the movies, the original trilogy movies. You're getting like witness testimonies, basically, from the sideline characters that a lot of times we roll our eyes or like, oh my gosh, this is just nobody, we think very little of, but this book brings the perspective that they're not just a nobody, they are a somebody in this universe. And they do witness what's going on around them from these major lead characters that we read and talk about and watch all the time. Well, the sideline characters have just as much an input as we do. And there is some testimonies about IG-88. Once again, though, in the Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy, when Boba, Aurora, and Dengar leave Tatooine to go take down the Bounty Hunter Guild, the whole Bounty Hunter Guild corporation, like the lead headquarters, I suppose you could say. This is where the Mandalorian with Din Djarin and Grief Karga kind of gets a little muddy, just a little bit, because they acted like their guild was like the only guild, and that planet was never mentioned anywhere in this book. But I suppose as big as the galaxy is, you can take it into consideration. Maybe that was like a substation for the Bounty Hunter Guild. That's the way I'm having to humor it. It's the only thing that's allowed me to get through, so that I can actually enjoy The Mandalorian at all. Up until the Book of Boba Fett, which is what this book series, The Bounty Hunter Wars, was supposed to have been for. Not the Book of Boba Fett. Whatever they did with the Book of Boba Fett, that was not Star Wars. Call it what you want. But this right here, The Bounty Hunter Wars, explains how Boba got out of the Sarlacc pit in the Mandalorian armor. This book tells how Boba got out of the Sarlacc pit. It tells who saved his life, even. And it had nothing to do with Jabba stripping his parts, and it had nothing to do with him hanging out with Tuskens. If you want to get a Tusken Raider story, go to Young Jedi Knights book series. Luke recruits a Tusken youngling for the Jedi to be a Jedi. He recruits one. The Young Jedi Knights, they do point out that the Tuskens are tribal. They are very Native American-like tribal situation. And, you know, Disney was not wrong about that part. But they were wrong about Boba ever spending time with the Tuskens. Luke, on the other hand, he does actually spend some time with them, and he recruits one of their younglings who was force sensitive to join his academy. But IG-88 was one of the bounty hunters that Boba goes up against at one point. He goes up against Bosk. He goes up against a number of different bounty hunters. IG-88 was one, if I recall correctly, and if my memory serves me right, that battle did not go well for him, for Boba. In fact, I don't even know if there's a book where we get to see IG-88 ever die. He is a beast. He's thicker metal alloyed. He shoots so much quicker than what is described, you know, in description. He shoots so fast that, I mean, yeah, IG-11 looked like he was shooting pretty fast. I'm imagining 88 shooting even on a quicker swivel than IG-11 did. But another feature, he has Sentinel features, so he can home in on his enemies so much more accurately. And additionally, he lobs thermal detonators. He literally just lobs thermal detonators around like it's candy out of a piñata. And he almost doesn't even get affected by the blast of it. Whereas IG-11 was wanting to commit suicide with his own thermal detonator. That's the difference between IG-11 and 88. 88 is a beast. He takes more hits than IG-11 can handle, and he dishes out so much more than IG-11 this scene is doing. And even Boba couldn't even take down IG-88. That speaks volume. So, going back to IG-88's mods. So, this is really the beast of all IG units right here. If you go to my first video in the mods playlist, IG-88 is, I'm so caught up on his name. If you go to the first video of my playlist, I definitively explained in that video the various different type of character roles by definition and what it means, as well as the various different types of mods by definition and what their purpose is for. And I explained what it is we are doing when we apply these mods to these characters. For anyone who the whole mod concept might be kind of going over their heads, if you're curious, I've explained it in that video. You can also go to swgoh.gg. They give mod recommendations for these characters. And on that website, it gives the same recommendation as the in-game tips here, which is critical damage and critical chance for this attacker character. And honestly, IG-88 already attacks with a tank-like punch in the books. I mean, we might as well just be doubling what he's capable of at this point. If even Boba couldn't stand toe-to-toe with him without nearly getting killed himself, I mean, that kind of speaks volume right there. With that said, but for the in-game purpose, basically we are cross-training IG-88 as an attacker to attack with a tank-like punch. Honestly, for my generation of Star Wars, this is not anything new about IG-88. Now, it'd be awesome to put that to IG-11, because he seriously needs it if he ever went toe-to-toe with this guy, but even that wouldn't be enough, because he's thinner metal than IG-88. IG-88 probably shred right through him. But yeah, that is IG-88 mods. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments and questions and suggestions down below. And thank you for following. May the force be with you.